Today on the Terrible Warriors, we do away with pre-recorded intros. Hi everyone, I'm your GM for the game, Justin Ecock, and we are going to sit down and play a new game, a new type of game. You can already see it in the show title, so I don't need to be too mysterious about it, but I'm going to be anyways. I am not alone at this table of Terrible Warriors. If I was, this would be a kind of a sad game. Starting at my right, your left, I am joined by, I guess now regular cast member.
Yeah, that's it. I live here. Poisonne. Hi.
She won't leave. She won't leave. She moved in and she won't leave now. Also,
Natalie Wallace.
Hey, Natalie. Thanks
Hello.
again for joining me at Breakout. That was a lot of fun,
That was a lot of fun.
And this is actually a game we're playing from Magpie, written by Mark Truman. We met Sarah Richardson.
We did.
Their Kickstarter for Cartel was awesome, so it's kind of all nice that this is it's all connecting. And also has another connection to another game we've played, The Seventh Sea. This game was edited by John Wick. So all little bits of trivia.
Not to be confused with Keanu Reeves.
Not to be confused with Keanu Reeves, John Wick.
Clear.
Actually, John Wick Presents. It's awesome. It's the best kind of cool name. And newcomer to the show. Hey.
What ho?
Hello.
Hello.
And your name is?
Katy Grabstis. I'm the only one in the world.
Hi. Oh, wow.
Whoa.
I think I'm the only Justin Ecock in the world.
Oh, my God.
There are a few other Ecocks out there, but none that are Justin Ecock.
What about G-Cocks?
Well, Justin Ecock, right? Mr. Ecock. Anyways.
Okay.
I literally tripped over the grave of somebody with my name in Scotland.
Oh, my God. Hey, Will. Welcome back.
Future grave.
Hey, it's Will Mitchell coming to you from Edmonton.
And thanks again for joining back with us. I remember when I mentioned this game, you're like, I'm here. And
and Justin was like, I didn't invite you.
The reason I even know about this game is because of you. Welcome back.
Nahrgang.
It's Nug. Hey, we last saw you at Worldwide Wrestling the RPG.
Yes.
Both of them.
When I was buying the book of the Worldwide Wrestling RPG, this was on the shelf beside it. And I looked at it and I thought, oh, that would be a ton of fun.
And you've been spamming me ever since.
Every time I've gone back to the bookshelf, it's been there. And one day I just bit the bullet and I said to you, you got to play this game.
Yeah, you actually pulled us aside one night when we were like, we got to play this game.
Play this.
And it's actually kind of fun in that it in a similar way, is in line with this playstyle of Worldwide Wrestling the RPG, but more Fate Core and less powered by Apocalypse, because we are going to be playing characters who are playing characters in a play. Because this game is The Play's the Thing. A game about Shakespearean acting troupes completely shredding all of Shakespeare's stories. This game was actually made for an event called Game Chef. And think of it like the game jams or the board game jams that happen in this city, where you get a weekend to make an entire game from scratch and then play test it, and then they all vote on which one was the best one. And the theme that year was Shakespeare. And so this game came out of that, and it won. They put it up for a Kickstarter, rewrote it, edited it around, and we are playing characters who are actors in an acting troupe who are also playing characters in a play that we're going to be playing through. And this adventure will be that play, that performance. But it won't just be the performance. It'll also be the rehearsals and the edits and the changes, because as the playwright, I don't know the first thing about Shakespeare. Everyone else around this table actually does in real life, and your actors also know and will be making edits going, no, I know how this story really goes. This is what's going to be happening instead. And you will be turning this into some weird fan fiction remix of one of the greatest stories ever told. In fact, you all do have some kind of acting experience, don't you? I'm the only one who doesn't.
Yeah, my theater degree is going to use finally.
Take that, Mom.
Yes! So, hell, let's give me a little quick backstory here to prove that, what this game is going to mean to you that doesn't mean to me. Quickly, I mean, Natalie, you got your acting degree.
So I've got a Bachelor of Arts in Theater Studies. I also was the production director, there we go, for a musical theater company that was in Toronto a few years ago. And
so you definitely know about the stress in the backstage and the nonsense that goes on.
Oh, yeah.
And I know, Will, you've done your own one-man shows too, right?
Yeah. I've done one-man shows and stuff. Actually, I just did 12th Night over the Christmas holidays, both in Edmonton and in Calgary.
Oh my God,
I've done Midsummer Night's Dream far too many goddamn times because everybody puts that play on
Jesus.
constantly. I've done quite a deal of Shakespeare in my time.
This is
That said, I'm still fucking terrible at verse.
I'm not going to need to give you your lines. You're going to know them all. Katy, you really wanted to be in this game when I posted about it. So I know we're all friends. You're friends with Natalie, and we're brought in from her gaming group.
I'm the import.
And so
I import Katy's now.
You've worked.
Yeah. So I was the head of my Shakespeare club in high school.
Nerd.
I ran the Renaissance night. And I went to National Theatre School in Montreal. And I worked about 5 years doing television and voiceover work here in Toronto. And I was first witch in Macros at the National Arts Centre in Ottawa.
Hey,
nice.
This is all very close to home.
Oh yeah,
nice. And I mean, Bree, you've done some things.
Just a couple. Yeah. I did musical theater and light opera from about the age of 12 until about 19, when I decided I was done with theater, and then I promptly transitioned into doing circus, which I've done for 6 years. So I'm a fire eater and an aerialist. So
yeah. So. That it seems a little safer than Shakespeare.
Yeah, as it turns out.
And I mean, like Nug and I were the only ones who have no experience at all. So.
Oh yeah, I have none.
I definitely did not watch Nug share literal stage space with Colin Mockery recently.
Yeah,
didn't watch that at all.
So what's funny is we did the wrestling role-playing game, which was us playing guys who are wrestlers.
Yeah.
With real wrestlers too. But I talk about wrestling on TV, but I have an English degree, like I'm an English major, and so I took like many Shakespeare classes. And then as far as theater, I've done, I played Juliet's mom in Romeo and Juliet. I've done Evil Dead the musical, Night of Living Dead live on stage, Cannibal the musical. I've been in Pirates of Penzance and Man of La Mancha and The Fantastics, and just a large array of shows. Musical and non.
Yeah,
lots of musicals.
Lots of improvised
I was the
musicals.
professor in Equus in a production of Equus. I directed Reefer Madness. I've done all sorts of theater. So this is hysterically funny to me, and I can't wait to get into this.
Just for the record, Cannibal was fucking great,
Cannibal
and I
was
loved it, and no
fun.
one has ever heard of it when I try and talk about it, and I'm
good.
so angry.
It's so good. That was such a fun show.
It's just like, I feel like the luckiest person in the world to have actually seen Night of the Living Dead live.
Yes.
Because it was one of those really special shows that didn't get nearly as long of a run as it deserved.
It was so much fun to do because the movie's black and white. We were in black and white. The set, the costumes, our makeup, we were black and white.
It's like 15 characters, but only 7 actors.
7 actors, 15 characters. And at the end of the show, our director would do a talkback, and it looked like live Photoshop because he was in color, and everybody else was in grayscale.
It was really...
The coolest part was that George Romero lived in Toronto at the time, and he used to just pop by and watch the show. He wouldn't ask for free tickets. He would buy his ticket very quietly and sit and watch the show, and then afterwards pop backstage and go, "Hey guys, great show tonight." We were like, "You are allowed to come for free whenever you want." And he's like, "No, it's cool. See ya." Like, he just was the coolest.
That's actually a really cool anecdote. That's really neat.
Yeah, man.
So we are also, along with the players who are actors, also playing actors. So quickly, around the table, we spent a little too long on the preamble. Who are you playing today? Introduce us quickly to your characters, in reverse order, starting with Nug.
I am the actor. My actor's name is Edmund Redmond. I'm kind of like an addle-minded, super friendly Christopher Plummer. I've been in a million shows.
So you're not playing Ken the Nightmare Norton from World Wide Wrestling?
No, I'm not.
The Shakespeare version at all?
Yeah, no. This guy is like super happy to be there.
Yep.
Loves theater. Loves teaching and being on stage with new young actors. Yep. So he's super friendly.
And every character also has an archetype in this game that plays into some mechanical roles as well. The types are the lead, the villain, the ham, and the ingenue. Obviously,
I'm the lead.
You're the lead. And Katy.
Hello.
You are playing the insufferable.
I am playing the insufferable Baronetess Lorelei Codswallop, and I'll have you know my husband is the prime sponsor of this theater troupe, so we bought this role with good money. My husband will hear of this.
So Lorelei will be playing the ham. And Natalie.
I am Lilith. Just Lilith. No Lily, no if, just Lilith.
the villain. Yeah.
Could you
Is the
hear
pause
it?
part of the name?
Yes.
So you're also a bit of a diva
Pause
as
is
well.
my middle name.
You've got this like diva personality as well, where you kind of walk in, don't make eye contact, have the right drinks ready at the table,
Yes.
and you
Orange M&Ms only.
Exactly. Loki wants to just kill everybody anyways, too, because I want your
know, it
parts.
was serial killing.
I want the lead.
It was serial killing or acting.
Exactly. So I'm combining both. I also low-key think everything should be a musical. I can't sing for shit. I apologize in advance.
You sing in the key of R flat.
Exactly.
The pirate musical note.
And Will, you are bringing in just the best, just the wholesome cinnamon roll character.
Yeah, this sweet little dude. I'm playing Henry Marsham, sailor turned stagehand turned actor. He is our ingenue. He's kind of new at this, but he's kind of a charming man of the people.
Your
the
family comes
groundlings
out to
love
every
him.
performance. Your mom's always there. Your aunts, your uncles.
I hate them.
Yeah, he's got a huge extended family and like a bunch of kids. Like, yeah.
Yeah, they can only afford like the top balcony, but they're there and they're always there to support you. And they always make like the loudest noise whenever like you show up for your curtain call. It's great. It's so wholesome. Speaking of not wholesome at all, finally.
Good segue there. Hi, I'm bringing back literally the only character that people on the internet have told me to stop. Dirk Weiss from 7th Sea.
Yeah. So are we in the 7th Sea universe, or has Dirk now become like a fractal reflection that appears now throughout the multiverse?
Dirk seems eternal.
Dirk just is.
Yeah.
Very eternal.
Look at him.
Okay. Just look at him.
For those of you who don't know Dirk, if you haven't listened to 7th Sea, it's really good. Will runs it. It was a really solid,
Dirk is actually
really
a prequel to Pity.
excellent, really excellent game. But if you don't know Dirk, visually he looks like Viktor Nikiborov from Yuri on Ice, and he acts more like Logan from Westworld. Like he's insufferable, he's awful,
So-
and in this case he is also a ham.
Also a ham. So we have two hams, a villain, a lead, and an
insufferable
ingenue.
hams.
So it's really neat. We get all the types represented on stage. We are going to be playing, and I'll say it once, and then we'll decide if we say it again. You've all chosen the Shakespeare tragedy, Macbeth.
We're not in a theater.
We're not in a theater. We're in a radio studio. The theater is just literally beside us in that room over there.
We could have played there. We chose not
We
to.
chose not
The
to.
theater is in my mind.
It was such a beautiful day. I thought we should have gotten the H4 and actually done Shakespeare in the park and recorded it outside. Maybe next time. Maybe next time. So we are going to be playing through the Macbeth tragedy, which means we have to first cast our roles. We know our actors and we know the troupe, and we'll be a little ambiguous about the period setting right now because I don't think it's going to come up too much. The first bit here is you've all been given 5 story points to bid on characters. And as they go around, you can either choose to accept the character, the first one in the casting call, or you can bid them up by adding a new part, a new plot, or a new prop to that character. And I have here in the book, I'm going to find that page real quickly, where did I put it? The actors, the play, the other cast.
Sorry.
Quick start guide? No.
It is right here. Type of plays.
Oh, here we go.
Yeah, here we are, the parts. So the first one here, and we rolled ahead of time, so Bree is going to be first, and then we're going to go clockwise around the table, so we'll go Bree, Will, Nug, Katy, and then ending with Nat. The first character that we are casting for is Banquo, a noble Scottish general sworn to serve King Duncan.
Just
Sworn
sing.
to sing.
Sworn to sing.
Spoiler alert.
So the starting plot, part,
Going my
and
way already,
prop
guys.
is Banquo is a knight, a friend to Macbeth, and has a sword. So for the knight, I mean, they have little rules here, and I've got them written down on these cards to hand to you. The knight, every character, plot, prop, and part have mechanics for gaining dice and stuff. So the knight gains 2 dice when honoring your commitments. You cannot act against your liege's will. You have what was it?
Next.
What was the next part? The plot, friend to Macbeth. So the friend to Macbeth.
Wow, there are a lot of cards on the table.
I'm
I've
going to
suddenly
hand them to you
realized.
so you don't lose it. Gain 2 dice when helping your friend accomplish a task. You may protect your friend from harm, even if it puts you in danger. And then you get they start with a sword, which is whenever participating in a duel, you add another dice to your pool. So you can either accept or pass on that character, and if you want to pass, you can also choose to spend story points to add new parts and plots and props to the character.
Okay, so how does that work? Do I just pull
You
something
must carry a
out
barrel the entire play.
So
Also,
have a
you are
parrot
at-
on your shoulder.
Also,
for
you
example,
are
an actor may
Atlas.
say,
You have a
I
peg
know this
leg."
story, the ruler is also a witch, or I know this story, the father of Ophelia is also the father of Leartus. It's not necessary for these additions to be true to the original script. Sometimes it's fun for Othello and Iago into brothers, or to transform Romeo and Juliet into fairy creatures. Keep in mind that part of the game is to break the rules. You can add new parts plus by spending a story point and then saying, I know this story. So you can we can find like the closest matching mechanic to it. So I've introduced here Banquo, the noble Scottish general sworn to serve King Duncan. And you might go, well, I know this story. Banquo's really blank.
Is it possible for me to take your slip earlier and say that whenever he speaks to his king, he must sing? Is that a plot thing that I can do to him?
I'll just put down the plot is also friend to Macbeth.
He's also a minstrel.
Yes, that's
He's
great.
also
Make
a
him a
minstrel.
minstrel.
He's a bard class.
He's
minstrel.
cross-class to bard.
So you give me a story point.
There you go.
And now, Will, you have the choice of accepting Banquo, the knight and minstrel, friend to Macbeth, with a sword, or you
Really
can
sounds
accept
like
it,
Henry's part.
or you can you
Yeah.
can pass on it. And then what happens here? Each part has 2 features. Attempting to convince. It was. Did I just put the page away.
Why would you do that?
Claiming a part. I want to know how many characters offer characters bid, pass, or claim. Hand out character lines to each actor. Hand out 5 story points to each actor. How many you get story points when you collect a part. I'm gonna edit this quick part out. Claiming a part. Gets the story points bid by the playwright and other actors for that role. Oh, I see. So
however
it's
many
now,
story
it's
points
now
are
got
attached.
One. It's now
Okay.
got 1 story point attached to that character. So if you now take Banquo, you'll get an additional story point added to. You have 5 right now at the beginning. You can either take Banquo, the knight and minstrel, and friend to Macbeth, or you can pass or bid up that character to the next, which will go to Nug.
I mean, he's pretty cool so far. I like how he's shaping up. I think he'd be more interesting if he was also, because like as we all know, he's best friends with Mackers, and it's a classic trope, right? Like we all know the story. Mm-hmm. He's also in love with Lady Macbeth.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It's beautiful drama.
Lady Macbeth.
I will definitely spend a point on that.
Getting some
All
Love
right.
Actually bullshit up in here.
Yes.
Damn right.
So Nug,
Perfect.
Banquo, the knight and minstrel,
Not for me. Not for
friend to
Edmund
Macbeth,
Redmond.
in love to Lady Macbeth.
In love with Lady Macbeth, carries the sword, but as he is a minstrel, he also carries a book full of his love poetry to Lady Macbeth around with him at all times.
Ooh, evidence.
So not just a sword, but also another prop, which is in this form a
The book of love letters and poetry and
letters.
whatnot to Lady Macbeth.
great.
Armed for romance at every opportunity, with music and lyrics.
So, Katy,
Yes.
Banquo now has 3 story
Hillary
points
movie.
that you're going to be getting if you take this part. Banquo is a knight and minstrel, friend to Macbeth, in love with Lady Macbeth, has a sword and love letters.
That is a lot going for that
Already.
character.
Yep.
But man, what kind of lady would I be if I just chose the first thing that came up?
So, then how do you know Banquo better than the rest of them? How is Banquo different from, like, are we missing something about Banquo's character? Would you like to add something more? Do you know this story?
I have a hypothetical question. If I spend a story point, can someone be a literal horse? Or do they have to stay human?
We get this. We could add in the.
That'd be like a fairy creature
Can add in the part that
transformation.
would
Yeah,
take the
pretty much.
fairy. It would basically become a fairy in terms of the stats. Yeah. So is Banquo not just the knight and minstrel friend to Macbeth and in love with Lady Macbeth, but it's also the royal horse?
I think Banquo
Yes,
has
he's
a
cursed by the Fae.
Is it like
He's the knight and the horse the knight rides.
Obviously.
It's really efficient.
the horse that rides? lady.
The real question is, does he have a mustache?
We just turned Banquo into Mr. Ed.
Yeah. So is Banquo also a horse?
Yes, Banquo is also a horse.
It adds a whole nother layer
A
of
horse.
tragedy because he and Lady Macbeth cannot be together because he's a horse.
We haven't even
Is
started.
it because I'm a horse?
Don't worry too much about continuing to add to all these characters. We still got to get through the rest of the cast.
true.
There
know.
is always
big
chances
cast
to
list.
edit them in game
Yes.
as well.
Yes.
Man.
So finally, Natalie,
Yes.
Banquo,
Yes.
sworn to or friend to Macbeth, in love to Lady Macbeth, a knight, a minstrel, a horse. Comes with a sword and a book of love letters. Are you going to take this character? Or are we going into round 2?
I think I'm going to pass this into round 2.
Okay.
I
You
don't
still have
think...
to spend a story point to pass on it.
Okay.
And it keeps building up the value
Yeah.
of the character. You can add. Do you know the story better?
Oh.
I'm just puzzling how the fuck he wrote love letters.
Sorry, so what he
With his
currently
mouth,
has...
just
Yeah, he
like
put the
his
pen in
mouth.
his
Oh,
teeth.
yeah,
he's
he's
not-
like
remember-
he's super
Hella
talented.
dexterous.
I want to know how he plays his lute.
You don't want to know how he plays
And he
his flute.
sings.
You
He must be
hope
from
to see
Bremen.
it in person.
Okay, Bree. Banquo. Sword, love letters, a knight, a horse, a minstrel, friend to Macbeth, and love
Dirk
to
was
Lady
starting
Macbeth.
to get into it until he became a horse. And like, have you seen?
Okay,
have
are you
seen
spending another
Dirk?
story point to
Yeah,
pass
I'm
on it?
spending another story point.
Are you
going to
make it? Are you gonna add something into his character? We have, in terms of the other parts, if you want to know, there's the ruler, the maiden, the exile, the fool, the hero, the witch, the fairy, which we already have, the knight, which we already have, the nurse, the commoner. The plots involve being a son or daughter in love, we've already got, sworn, mother, father, brother, sister, betrayer, enemy, pawn, rival, friend, which we already have. And then the props involve a knife, a crown, poison, sword, letters, which we have, standards, disguise, lantern, and coin. So you could put in disguise where he's a horse disguised to look like a human.
Disguised as a human.
Oh, we're chicken booing this shit
Add
again.
one die when
is.
hiding in plain sight.
Yeah.
He
Yes.
sure is. He is a horse with a very elaborate man suit.
Different color.
He's just 4 kids
So
in
on,
a
so
Actually,
on
I'm a
stage,
horse.
you're going to be played by 2 actors in a horse suit dressed as a human.
Take it, Will.
Will, we're back to you. Banquo, a
Take it.
human disguised horse with a sword and love letters, who is a knight and a minstrel, a friend to Macbeth, in love to Lady Macbeth.
I'm so excited for the fan
I have one
fiction.
question. Who is he sworn to as a knight? Is he sworn to Mackers?
As
Yes.
a character,
Mac.
he
Friend
is,
to Mac.
he is, yeah.
Just wanted to make sure that
He
that's
is
how
a
they spelled
friend
it
to
out.
Macbeth. He's not sworn to Macbeth. He's a friend to Macbeth, sworn
Okay,
to
but then-
serve King Duncan.
Okay, Duncan. That's what I thought. I wanted to make sure that that was clear. So in
Duncan
that
is not gonna
case,
be one
how
of
could
our
I not
characters.
take
Duncan is always
this?
off screen.
This is such an ingenue part.
Yeah,
All right,
right.
so I'm going to take this. So you're going to have, if you want to write down, you've got for your character name, Banquo.
Yep.
Right under parts, the knight. And
Yep.
what was...
Minstrel.
horse.
And
yeah, so the knight... we don't really have anything for minstrel, so I'm going to put in the fool counts as the
I was going to say,
minstrel.
treat it as a fool.
Yeah.
So, as the knight, I've got the character card in front of me. The knight has, you're going to want to know this, which on the PDF is page 40.
Yeah, I'm on it.
Gain 2 dice when honoring your commitments is an invoke. So you can spend a story point to gain 2 dice when honoring your commitments as a knight to Duncan and Macbeth.
Yeah.
As a compel, the rest of us can spend a story point or 2 story points. You cannot act against your liege's will. So if any time Banquo is acting in something that would be against that character, you can compel
He can't do that.
Henry into you can't do that. We edit them into that compel. But you also have the other part, which is the fool. You gain 2 dice when you speak truth to power. And the compel, you must make lords laugh to keep your head. And
Also, don't forget when you talk to Duncan, you have to sing.
and the horse is
Yes.
the horse is more of a character thing so much as instead of a part. So it's just funny. The plot, we have a friend to Macbeth, which is also page 43.
Yeah.
Gain 2 dice when helping your friend accomplish a task is the invoke. You must protect your friend from harm even if it puts you in danger. I'm going to put that there. And then the other plot was in love, which I don't have written down. Gain 2 dice when pursuing your true love as an invoke. And the compel is love burns like a fire in your heart. Act the fool for it. So again,
Such a
you can
Francesco.
spend story point to force Banquo to act like a fool in love.
Excellent.
And I think that was everything.
all
The
this
sword,
story. He's got so many
the
stories.
props. You now have a sword, which is add 1 dice when
Plus
participating
2
in
to
a
fight.
duel, and I've got that here. And you have letters, add 1 die when spreading secrets.
Ooh.
And you have a disguise, add 1 die when hiding in plain sight. So keep those things in mind,
Nice.
because if you're doing any of those things when you make the edit, you get to add dice into your pool, which is great. You want to have more dice so you can beat me in those edits.
Got a ton of story points too.
So
Yeah.
you get
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 story points for accepting Banquo.
Winner.
That pushes me
Gagnon.
up to 10.
Yeah.
Nice.
Can
I
I-
spent
A
1,
lot.
so 6 and 4 is 10.
Can I double check something real quick, Justin?
Yes.
If you have to spend a story point to pass, I'm gonna run out of story points real early.
Yeah, probably.
Oh boy.
So
It
that's-
forces
so
us to take
You're gonna
things.
want to eventually start taking parts.
Mm-hmm.
So
You're
Will
not stuck
accepted
with
it.
one
So we're now
part.
starting with Nug.
Yes.
The next character up for our cast is the Lady Macbeth. Lady Macbeth, Macbeth's fearsome wife, a sharp-tongued, aggressive woman who lusts for power. Starting as the maiden, sworn to Macbeth, and has a knife. Oh, by the way, Banquo, you've got some lines
Yeah.
to speak.
Oh yeah, give me my lines.
What can the devil speak true?
Yep.
And thou hast it now, as the weird woman promised, and I fear thou playest most foully for it. So whenever you use those lines in our game, you get a story point. And if you do
Okay.
a really good job, you get 3 story points. And if you make us cry in the room, you get 5 story points.
Nice.
Does crying with laughter also count? Will we accept it?
Yes.
Yes.
So, Banquo has gone to Henry Marsham. And Lady Macbeth is the next one up for bidding. Lady Macbeth, fearsome wife, sharp-tongued, aggressive woman. For the sake of keeping story points, spend a story point if you know the story, but keep story points if you pass going forward, so you don't run out. I'm just
Okay.
gonna house rule
Okay.
because I kind of like
Yeah.
spend it. You can if it passes around twice, then I get the character.
Yeah.
So, anyway, it just I'm okay with the ingenue getting some like freebies
Yeah,
from
for
breaking the
sure.
rules. So, anyways,
Wait, what?
You came out on top.
are you passing on Lady
I
Macbeth?
am passing on Lady
Are you?
Macbeth.
Do you know Lady Macbeth better than we do?
No, I do not.
So, Katy or Lorelai,
Indeed.
Macbeth's fearsome wife, sharp-tongued, aggressive woman who lusts for power. The maiden, sworn to Macbeth and has a knife.
It sounds great. I'll
You're,
take
gonna
it.
be you're the Lady Macbeth.
Ah.
Hey.
All right.
Easy sell. Yeah, I knew it was gonna be.
I'm gonna
I
give
am
these
one
to
of
those
you.
two.
Oh, you are going down. I am killing you.
So you are sworn to Macbeth. There's your invoke and compel.
Oh.
And you have a knife,
Knife.
that is given. The knife is kind of, unlike the sword, you add 1 dice when wounding another character.
Nice.
So that's the Dirk move. And and then you also have the maiden as the role. You gain 2 dice when dealing with those who want you, and your position is weak. This is the compel. Your position is weak. You must not trust others. So if any time you think Lady Macbeth is trusting anyone, you can spend a story point to be like, you can't trust them. You're the maiden.
Macbeth.
You're
All right.
man.
So that's it. No one bid into that character, so you don't get any story points
I know it's sad.
put into it. You just get blankety blank. That's what it is.
Thank you.
So Lady Macbeth has gone. So Henry, Lorelai. The next one here is on our
Look, guys,
cast
it's not
list.
me
Your
threatening
lines.
players
Write
for
some
once.
of these lines down.
Well, you
all
got
right.
lines.
You got a lot. I'm just gonna give them all to you.
Snap.
I fear thy nature. It is too full of the milk of human kindness.
Oh boy.
Good line.
Your nature. It is too full.
Just give her the page roll.
Well, I need it because Macbeth is on the same page. I meant to photocopy these things. Screw your courage to the sticking place.
Yeah.
Those are 2 separate statements. To the sticking place.
To the sticking
When our
place.
actions do not, our fears do make us traitors. And you know there's one last line that you have to use if you're going to be Lady Macbeth.
Yes.
Yes.
Out damn spot. Out, I say.
Out damn spot.
Side note,
Where's
my
the time to
father,
go?
my father always mixed up Macbeth and Hamlet.
Amazing.
And so his
I brought a York
only
skull 'cause I did the same
Shakespearean
thing.
quote that he will know is "Out damn spot, get thee to a nunnery."
Oh dear.
We should have just merged the two plays. That
very
would have been
funny.
fun.
Crossover fiction.
Because I think a lot of people do
Perfect.
make that Hamlet Macbeth mistake.
Oh,
in their memory.
absolutely.
They think to be or not to be and out damn spot are all in the same thing.
Plebs.
That's me. Hi, I'm running the show. Macbeth is our next character up for grabs, which we're going to start with Natalie. A Scottish general who secretly wishes to take the Scottish throne. The knight is the starting part. Sworn to Lady Macbeth is our plot. Comes with a sword. Are you going to take
Well,
Macbeth?
I'm not going to take. However,
Oh,
do you
boy.
know Macbeth better than we do?
I might know.
Oh, you know this story.
Macbeth better than everyone else.
Okay.
He only. It's really weird. Nobody ever notices this part about him, but he always speaks in puns.
Ah, putty.
Can I trade my character?
So he's also a.
That's what you get.
So he's gonna get a new part, the fool. He's always in puns.
Yeah. Well, I'll spend story point on that one.
So he's now Dad Beth. Dad Beth,
yeah, exactly.
the Scottish dad.
Oh yeah,
Mac
Scott
Daddy?
Mac Daddy.
Aw.
See, you could have had Pun Beth, but instead you're lady Pun Beth.
You're married
Lady
to that
McPuns.
now.
You're married to that.
Aren't
Story
you
of
in
my
real
life.
Okay, so Dirk, Macbeth.
I mean, Dirk really wants Macbeth, but now I'm terrified of the
A
puns
Scottish general who's
matching up with my direction of being forced to make soliloquies. Can you fucking imagine?
I can. It's glorious.
You'll get a knight card, you'll get a sworn to Lady Macbeth card, and you'll get a sword. The sworn, by the way, if you want to know what those do, the mixed. Oh, am I missing it? I think I'm missing it now.
Oh.
It's a rival. I got rival, enemy. Oh, there it is. Sworn to Lady Macbeth. You gain a dice when obeying the oath you swore, and the compelled others. Loyalty goes beyond your oath. Follow your liege even when dismissed from service. So even when Lady Macbeth says "get out of here," you can't. You still have to follow through with what you're sworn to. So that's how that card plays. And then you also get a sword, which is all about dueling. This is Macbeth.
Yeah, I mean,
This is the villain of our story.
Dirk really wants Macbeth.
So you get
Yeah.
one story
Nice.
point.
I'm terrified.
So
it.
Dirk has now been cast into the role. Dirk Weiss has just been cast into the role of Macbeth. You are sworn to Lady Macbeth, so you can take that. You get a sword, so you can take that.
Oh, yeah,
This is just so
shiny.
you know. And you are you're not the hero. Nope, not in this play. You are the knight.
Amazing.
And you also are the fool, if you want to write on the back of that card, so that we don't forget. The fool has... you gain 2 dice when you speak truth to power. And you must make your lords laugh to keep your head. Which is the puns. So people
Oh,
can...
dear.
So it's not so much that Macbeth is going to constantly be saying puns, but the rest of you can spend a story point to compel a pun or be wounded. And possibly killed in the first act.
the best
Into
thing
it.
I've done all day.
So our next character, if you're ready for it now, is Macduff, a Scottish nobleman who becomes suspicious of Macbeth's rise to power. How could someone that bad at puns be so conniving? Their starting part is the hero. They are an enemy to Macbeth, and they have a sword. Oh, by the way, Macbeth, you got some lines.
Oh, shit.
Oh, yeah.
Yep. I'm ready.
How fast are you at writing?
Fairly.
Stars, hide your fires. Let not light see my black and deep desires.
Fires let not light see.
I say that every time I launch an incognito window.
That was someone's
s-
MSN
let-
Messenger name in
Let
high
not
school.
light see my black and what desires?
My black and deep
Your MSD.
desires.
Okay.
Wasn't
Amazing.
it?
I mean, look at you.
Look at me.
Life.
we saw what happened
You'll
with the
remember
bishop.
this. You get this line. Life is a tale told by an idiot,
Yeah.
full of sound of fury, signifying nothing. Which is also a line that Q used against Picard to justify all of his tormenting of the Enterprise.
Nerd.
Yeah.
And then Picard responds like, "What I say with what Shakespeare wrote with irony, I say with conviction. what a piece of work is man?
Yep.
Nothing. Okay.
Is this a dagger which I see before me? The handle toward my hand?
Oh my god. I forgot about
Grasp
that.
it thee, I hold thee not.
Oh, life is imitating art.
Which I see before me.
Is that a dagger in your pocket, or you just happen
The
to see
handle
me?
toward
The
my
handle
hand?
toward my hand. Oh dear.
Oh, dear.
Seven
that-
C
you know what's gonna happen?
flashbacks.
I'll give you one for free. Knife to see you.
I'm writing that
Oh,
down.
yeah.
It's all going to be Arnold Schwarzenegger closing lines.
Watch me Google knife puns.
All right. So we now go to Will. We're starting with
Your
Macduff.
cutting wit is going to be
A
excellent.
Scottish
Hey.
nobleman who becomes suspicious of Macbeth's rise to power. A hero, an enemy to Macbeth. Starts with a sword.
He does start out with a sword. And he is an enemy.
You're
to
already
Macbeth.
cast as Banquo.
I have already got a part.
You've already got a part.
Yeah, I'm doing really good. I mean,
We have three
Well-
more to go, but only 2 people to be cast. So someone's going to be playing 2 roles.
oh, for sure.
I'd love to see Macbeth
I think
also
the
playing
thing that
witches.
always gets like pushed to the side, people always forget this about Macduff.
What
He
do
knows
people?
the story
What
better
do
than
people most? Yeah, I mean, you're a sailor.
does.
You've heard the real stories about Macduff and
Yeah,
his
well, I
play.
mean, it's the great tragedy of the play is that Macduff and Macbeth, they're actually siblings.
Oh, he's a brother to Macbeth.
Yeah, same
Yeah.
father, different mother.
Oh,
They got separated.
Sibling rival. So that's one of his.
that's actually
into
so.
the
So
pig.
you're spending that story point
Brother
into
from
it,
another
and that
mother.
actually is a new plot that we can write in to
Brother, sister.
brother.
It's all sibling rivalry. I want to be king.
I'm the next in line. I'm the
No, you can't be king. Dad said.
All right, we come back to the lead. Our is it Edward, right? Edward Red.
Yeah, Edmund Redmond.
Edmund Medmond. Macduff, the Scottish nobleman, the hero of our story. Enemy to Macbeth with a sword.
You know what? Yeah, I'll take it.
Okay, so
I get
then
one extra.
You'll get that 1 story point. You'll also get a sword.
Ooh.
You get the enemy to Macbeth card. Gain 2 dice when attempting to destroy your enemy. But the compel everyone else. You cannot see the forest from the trees. Strike blindly and without any forethought.
Oh, that sounds about right.
You also get the brother part, which I don't have written down because it was just invented now. Which has it's a plot. Which plays out as which is good for you. Oh no, plots are pathos. So the brother of here it is, brother. You're a sibling of another character in the play. Gain 2 dice whenever dealing with your sibling.
Oh,
Whenever you deal with Macbeth now, you can invoke.
Oh my
that
god,
to
he
gain
gets
dice.
so many extra dice.
Sorry, Mac.
You spend a story point to invoke that. Also compelling anyone else spending a story point. You cannot betray your brother or sister no matter how much they've hurt you.
Oh, the drama.
I cannot hurt my brother.
But also, I hate that.
He ain't heavy. He's
Macbeth.
Also, I love the can't see the forest for the trees line. with
Yeah,
the Mackers.
sweet
It's
reference.
great.
Yeah.
so
Guns
Edward
N'
is Macduff and Dirk is Macbeth. Oh God.
But look at me.
Our next character, we're coming back to Katy, Malcolm, son of King Duncan, also the hero, rival to Macbeth, not enemy. This is slightly different with the rules. And you have a standard. Standards are whenever you lead an army into battle, you gain dice. Oh, by the way, Macduff, you got some lines here.
Oh, yeah.
I keep forgetting. Dispute it as a man. I shall do so, but I must also feel it as a man.
Take a picture of the page.
Yeah, it's probably easier.
That's probably a better choice.
These are my
Right
Macduff.
there. And your second line, Macduff was from his mother's womb untimely ripped.
Oh, that's a classic.
'Cause
Oh yeah,
that's the
because
twist.
he was.
That's,
Yeah.
that's what the witches say.
Yes, not of woman.
Yeah, no
born.
man of
No
woman
one,
born.
no one of woman born
Oh,
will
guys,
betray
there's
you.
so many good ones. Oh, so good. Yay.
So just those
If there
two
was
lines,
some
not
way
the
to
Malcolm
gender
line.
bend this character, though, I'd love to have him drop the Eowyn, I am no man.
Yeah, I am no man.
So
man.
Malcolm, son of King Duncan, hero, rival to Macbeth, standard. You're already cast
yeah.
as Lady Macbeth.
I'm gonna pass.
It'd be
but
kind of fun to see that, but
I do wanna.
someone is going to also have to play the witches. as well. We've also got those two characters
Yes.
still.
Hot.
I'm watching Natalie hold out. I'm watching.
I'm not gonna lie. I was gonna hold out for the witches. I wanted
I think
it.
we all want to play
We
the
were
witches
all
all at
holding out
once.
for the
Yeah.
witches.
Can we all be a witch?
Can we all play Speak in One Voice, the improv game?
I was gonna say, or do it like
I mean,
three-headed
the
monster
parts
improv game,
are,
one
you
word
can
at a
also
time.
change characters to also give them the part of the witch. So you could make Malcolm is also a witch. Macduff is also a witch. Macbeth is
Hilarious.
also a witch, and everyone's just witches. But no, the role of the part of the witches is the last thing to be cast intentionally because everyone wants it. Yeah. So
Malcolm is fun because every time he exits the scene, he has to say a rhyming couplet.
Oh.
He's a scene ender.
Well spent.
so you're just adding
Well
in.
spent.
Okay. So
Couplets.
he's was it rhyming couplets?
Oh yeah.
Rhyming. Frickin' Shakespeare.
But I'll have to pass.
So Natalie, we have Malcolm up for grabs. A hero who always rhymes whenever he exits the stage. Rival to Macbeth. Son of King Duncan.
I'm still gonna have to pass, but I think I know this story better.
Oh God.
I think, and this is just because I've heard this story literally moments ago, where he is all Malcolm, you're a wizard, so he's a witch.
So Malcolm is
He practices witchcraft.
He's part of the witches.
He
He's part
is.
of the witches.
But he's like the ugly stepbrother. He's not even really, he just really wants to be.
okay.
He's a try-hard poser of a witch.
Exactly.
He does like card tricks and stuff,
Witch,
but not very well.
They gain 2 dice when you serve the lords of nature. You cannot allow men to conquer the wilds. It's a weird role
great.
to throw into Malcolm, but I
No,
guess
fun.
the first druidic king of Scotland, right?
Yeah, exactly. It's gonna wild shape. It's fine.
Dirk, Malcolm, son of King Duncan, hero, rival, standard, witch, comes with a sword. No, not with a sword, just comes with a standard. Passing?
I'm passing, but I would also like to.
Oh, you know Malcolm better than the
I
rest
know
of us.
Malcolm very, very well.
Malcolm is based off of a real character. Yeah, that you've met in your travels.
Malcolm, since he serves the Lord of Nature now, instead of carrying a sword, he carries a large fish.
Yes.
Yes.
Perfect.
Okay,
with
functionally will act exactly as a sword when
Which
it comes
will
to
act
gaining dice
as
in
a
a
sword,
duel.
but also smells slightly.
Yeah, it's a gross. It's a
but it's
gross
kinda
fish
fishy.
sword.
And also gives us some lovely Monty Python imagery.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Exactly.
exactly.
Slapping in the face with fishes.
Did you
Okay.
just hit me with a fish?
Hey there,
It was a
Henry.
fish's
You're playing
attack.
Banquo. Would you also like to play Malcolm, the fish-wielding witch, a hero and rival to Macbeth?
I don't know if Henry does, but God, Will really wants to.
You'll get 3 story points added to your very big pool.
I already have a pretty big pool of story points.
Ladies.
You got 1, 2,
Okay,
3,
can you
4,
give me
5,
his
6,
plots
7.
again?
You still have 10. So the plots.
No, I spent 1. I'm down to 9.
All right.
So I passed on.
That's right.
Yeah, you're right. So then, son of King Duncan, the hero is the starting part. The plot is a rival to Macbeth, but also a new part has been added, also a witch, and it has 2 props now, a standard and a fish sword.
Nice. I really like all that.
Banquo and Malcolm aren't always on stage at the same time either. Like
And
those.
don't forget, if this passes around a bunch, Justin gets that character.
Yeah, if it goes around one more time, it'll just become the playwright. I'll have to play Malcolm.
Which
With
actually,
all those
Fair
edits added
yeah,
in.
which actually I would
okay.
not be against.
No one's upset about
No
that.
one's.
Yeah, I'm not upset about that.
I would be very upset
Yeah,
about that. I've got enough
I
to
think
Private
I think the
couplets,
thing
yeah.
that people always forget about Malcolm, and like this is a deep cut. Like you gotta get into some of the folios to find this original version.
Uh-huh.
But Malcolm's an extremely marriageable bachelor.
Nice.
And
So
and
plot,
is
he's
actively
single.
looking for somebody to secure his sort of rule. Right? He's looking to get married.
So he's a lover to
I'm
everyone.
thinking as a part, he's kind of the maiden.
Oh,
Painfully single and ready to
the
mingle.
maiden.
Gains
Just
2
like-
dice
just
when
like
dealing
Lady
with those
Macbeth.
who want you, and your
Will.
position is weak.
Will,
Must
why
not trust
would you?
others.
Why would you do this to me?
Because I'm the devil.
I feel personally attacked.
Ed, Malcolm, fish-wielding witch, hero, maiden, rhyming couplets,
Moving
rival
right
to
along.
Macbeth.
Moving right along.
Katy, passing. You don't know this character. Natalie, Dirk. Are you also going to be Malcolm the Maiden?
I feel personally attacked, but I already have puns, and I cannot also do rhyming couplets.
It's only
don't have
once
to.
per scene.
No, yeah, I really don't. I really.
You don't have to feel like putting someone on the spot to do puns and rhymes is unreasonable, but they can still spend it to have that you do it in the narrative. And if you can't come up with anything, like I'm not gonna friggin' do anything. We'll just pass. Is that is it's sometimes
You're
even
going to RP jail.
There won't be any
Game police are gonna
punishment.
get you.
Please lay on the floor and assume the
Done
position
with
for
you.
collection. Yeah, I feel very personally attacked by Will right now because he's the only one who actually knows Dirk. I feel like that was a deep cut on purpose.
I apologize.
You want to be the lusty Malcolm who really needs to find himself.
And my own enemy? No, I kind of want
Secretly
to
also
pass
has-
it to Justin.
Okay,
Yeah.
well, we
Hilarious.
still have it's back to Will because we started on Natalie when we were starting this. So this is
Yes.
Will. Please take Malcolm.
All right, I'll take him.
Hey, take 4 story points. So
Will has all of the story
Henry or
points forever.
Ingenue is now playing Banquo the horse and Malcolm the maiden.
Very nice.
Finally, we start with Nug.
Oh.
We have one last part to cast, and then this episode will come to an end. The witches. The fates whose prophecies inspire Macbeth's awful deeds. They start with the part the witch, betrayer of Malcolm, and come with poison. Oh, by the way, Will,
Do I got lines?
angels are bright still, though the brightest fell. Here's one line.
Mm-hmm.
And then your next line, when you're ready.
Yep.
Give sorrow words. The grief that does not speak whispers the o'er-fraught heart and bids it break.
Beautiful.
Nice, big, chewy line.
Mm-hmm.
You got that?
Yep.
Okay, back to Ed. Witches, the fates whose prophecies inspire Macbeth's awful deeds. Betrayer of Macbeth, poison, witch.
Now, they may be old witches, but I know this story. Is that when they were younger, they were all like teen roommates.
Oh.
And so they are all like chatty Instagram girls.
Uh-huh.
So like every time they give their prophecies, it's like,
Like, oh my god.
oh my god, I can't believe it. And they have like vocal fry, and it's very
Did
upsetting to
you-
listen
did
to them.
you
It's all like
see-
weird teen rumors.
Yep.
Did you see what Macbeth had for breakfast
Oh my
the
god,
other
I'm
day?
so
So,
embarrassed
Katy,
for
I can't
him.
even believe he
The
did
witches,
They're so fire. They're so
they're,
lit.
they're like the betrayers of
Correct.
Macbeth. And they're so in with poison.
As much as I'd like to pick my poison, I'm going to pass.
Yes.
Do you know the witches better than the rest?
Who really knows the
Because
witches?
Natalie's going to take this. So,
Oh, I'm taking
Oh, I
this.
know.
I'm
so what do
running
you
with
what do you
it.
want
What
to
do
do?
you
to
wanna make
completely-
Natalie
How do you want to screw with me?
You
Is
can
really the short
spend
version
a
of
story
this.
point and make this a nightmare.
Are they a
for her.
lover of
Nothing,
Macbeth?
nothing but
Are they
iambic
all just like
pentameter.
Macbeth fangirls?
Oh my god.
Oh my god, iambic pentameter.
Strictly in verse.
Okay, give me a sec here. Oh, see, I was gonna spend a story point and make them all talk in New York accents, but now they're already Instagram girls.
They are our basic white
So,
bitches.
They are.
They're so basic.
So basic.
Yeah,
Basic. Oh my god, guys, this is the bad place.
This is the bad place.
We've entered the darkest timeline.
We should have known with the chowder fountain.
No, I'm gonna pass.
Natalie.
Yep.
You're the Valley Girl Witches.
I accept.
So you don't have any other part. This is your only
This
part.
is my only part.
Oh yeah, so you would have had to. I was just gonna have to give it to you. So then
I was just waiting to see how bad it got.
Lilith is the witches.
Who fully plans to kill to get Lady Macbeth.
Okay, great. You get a story point for that one edit.
Yes, I do.
Oh shoot.
And
You thought one after?
Yes.
so there we go. We have now. You have
Too
your
late.
final. Finally, we've got to give you your lines.
All right.
You get the good ones here.
Yes.
Fair is foul. Foul is fair.
Oh, this is just garbage.
You tell me when you're ready for the next one.
I'm good.
Double, double, toil and trouble,
Yeah.
fire burn, and cauldron bubble. Who wrote this? A 5-year-old? And then, of course, you can't be the witches without by the pricking of my thumb, something wicked this way comes.
Basically, all of those Shakespeare lines you've heard, they all come from the witches.
They all
in
come from the
Macbeth.
witches in Macbeth.
That's it.
Pretty much.
or they come from Hamlet.
Yeah. Or the witches in Hamlet. Not a lot of people know.
It's the same play.
It's the same goddamn play. So, when we come back next week, we now have our acting troupe. The cast has been set. We have done our table read. We're ready. The rehearsals, the performance, it all comes down to this. Act 1 of the Scottish play. When we start next week, because we've got about 5 minutes before we're at the full hour. So when we start next week, we begin with Act 1. Now, I set everything. I announce the set and the place. I will select at least 2 characters to start in that act, and I provide a synopsis of the act. I will tell you how the whole thing is supposed to play, and you want to stay on script, right? So, like, this is full of spoilers, obviously. Before you start, we can get into the free-form improvisation right away, but you can also, remember, you have ethos to change that setting. The settings will be very high in roles, but in each setting are many, many places. So even though we're starting in a field, the place is the Scottish moor, but it might be you can add more places into that field as well without changing the setting. Understand the difference between settings and places? And then from that, you can also do edits to add more characters, which will be the pathos role. And you can also change the plot on why they're there, which would also be pathos. And then the logos role changes the whole outcome of that scene on what exactly is happening and even being said, right? If you want to kill off characters, for example, that's changing the plot. So that's going to be a logos role.
And you will determine the difficulty of it.
And I will sometimes I might be like, that's fucking awesome, and I'll just accept it. And you don't have to spend any story points if the playwright is on board with it. Yeah. If I reject your edit, you spend the story point and you roll against me. And I will set, depending on the severity of the roll, I have the quick start. It can be anywhere between a 10 or a 15 or a 20, depending on how major the edit is. And as long as you roll all your dice together and you beat that, then I just have to accept the edit. And now we're all playing like in space, or we're all underground mole people, or whatever it is.
What
or
happens?
We're all horses dressed as humans.
What happens
Yes.
if we roll and we kill the playwright?
The whole thing ends up becoming like a really strange. What was that? The Watership Down.
Yeah.
Yes.
It all just becomes like an
We're
animal
going
farm.
tragedy. It's Watership Down and Plague Dogs at once.
Yeah, or like our Animal Farm, right? So it's just Macbeth Animal Farm. All right. The first act is a field set, Scottish moor. Macbeth and Banquo, returning home from a great battle, came upon the 3 witches on a Scottish moor. The witches tell Macbeth he will be king of Scotland, but also tell Banquo that his sons will be kings. When he arrives home and tells Lady Macbeth, Macbeth is surprised to find that she insists that he kill King Duncan and take the throne. He is hesitant, but is ultimately persuaded. That's the act. That's our whole. And then we run it. You can make edits, and then we repeat these steps until we end our play, and then there's like a whole outcome at the end. So that's going to happen next week on The Terrible Warriors as we continue through The Play's the Thing with Banquo the Horse, Lady Macbeth completely unedited, but Macbeth who's now the fool, Macduff who's now brother to Macbeth, their siblings, Malcolm who is got the most changes, is now both a maiden and a witch and very single, but a rival to Macbeth. And then the witches who are all teenage Instagram girls.
Hashtag blast.
Like transported from the future and dropped in the Scottish moors.
Prayer hands emoji.
Oh my god, do they speak only in emojis? Like they're cryptic runes? We'll find out next week. Until then, be good to each other.